Hello and welcome to Hostinger Academy. Today I'm here alone, don't have any guests, but I have some interesting things to talk about. I believe this subject should be interesting for everyone who are starting their projects, or maybe they are already working on their projects. And today I'm going to talk about customizing your WordPress website for the best user experience. So for ones who might not be familiar with me, I work at Hostinger, and I'm instructor at Hostinger Academy. I started using WordPress over 10 years ago, and during this time, I created around 7 or 8 projects. Some of them were more successful than others, but during this time, I gained some knowledge, and I believe this knowledge should bring some value to you as well. So, like always, during the presentation, during the whole webinar, you can ask questions, because at the end of this session, we're going to have Q&A session. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them here. Later on, I'm going to answer them to you. All right, so let's begin our webinar. So what exactly you're going to learn? Today in this webinar, I'm going to talk about best tips for choosing the right WordPress theme. I'm going to talk as well about how to customize your WordPress theme. There are quite a few things to talk about, because I have seen a lot of websites that don't follow best practices. And to be honest, a lot of websites don't look as good as they could look. All right, also, I'm going to talk about plugins that will help to build your website. And there are quite a lot of plugins that can help you to customize your website. And today in this webinar, I'm going to talk about them here. All right, and the last thing, I'm going to talk about the best practices for customizing your WordPress theme. So probably this last section might be the most important to you. And as you can see right here on the right side, we have Dwight. As he says, website is done. False, website is never done. So if you already have a website, don't be discouraged with the subject, because you might learn something useful. All right, so let's start with the tips for choosing the right WordPress theme. So first of all, when I'm choosing WordPress themes myself, I always pay attention to date of the last update. This topic is very important. We also talked about this thing in the last webinar. So if you are also interested in the last webinar, me and Juraj, we talked about ways to optimize your WordPress website. So don't forget to check that webinar if you want to learn how to optimize your website. But all right, let's go back to today's subject. And like I said, you should check the date of the last update of your theme. Let's say if you found a really good looking theme, and let's say this theme hasn't been updated in a while, let's say 6 months, 5 months, or even a year, or even more, you shouldn't use that theme, because the downside of outdated themes is that eventually they will be very difficult to work with. Some things might not work as they're supposed to, and you might have a really difficult time with that theme. So instead of choosing outdated theme, look for a theme that is like being constantly updated, that keeps everything up to date. This is very important, because you don't want to waste your time with outdated themes. All right, also, obviously, you should check reviews. It's quite important, because a lot of times you're gonna find some good reviews saying that there's something wrong with the theme. And if the creators of theme, they answer to that reviews, they reply to them, that means they are working on that theme, and you can probably trust that theme as well. I usually like to pay attention the most to 3-star reviews, 2-star reviews, because they are the best ones. I don't really pay too much attention to 1-star reviews, because a lot of times people just annoyed with a theme, or like they get frustrated, and for most of the time, for no reason, they give 1-star review. So you should pay attention the most to 3 or 2-star reviews. All right. Also, it's very important that theme would load fast. A good example would be Astra theme. It's a very fast loading theme, and you should look for fast loading themes. That's very important because it's going to be helpful for SEO. If you are building an e-commerce store, it's also going to help to increase your conversion rate and so on. So you want to have a fast loading theme because it's very important. All right. And the last thing, which is also quite important, I would say, customization options. In a lot of cases, if you're going to choose a free theme, most of the time those themes come with a premium versions and free versions. And usually free versions, they don't have a lot of customization options compared to paid ones. So yeah, you should look for a free theme that has more customization options. I know sometimes it can be a struggle. Sometimes you gotta go through at least a couple of themes until you find a free theme that has more customization options, but it's totally worth it. And if you have some budget to invest, don't be afraid. Don't ignore the investments in the theme, because later on you're gonna thank yourself. So yeah, premium, if you have money to invest, you should consider premium themes. All right, let's move on. All right, like I said, Astra theme is a really great choice. And in the last webinar, we had a guy from Astra from Astra team, and this theme is very fast loading. It has free version as well, and then it's very customizable. And this theme is basically built using Page Builder, which is called Elementor, and it's very customizable. It's, of course, it's multi-purpose. You can have an e-commerce website with this theme. You can have a blog or a business website. So I highly recommend you to check that theme out. I have included all the links in description. So if you're gonna find some tools or themes mentioned in this webinar, you're gonna find all the links in description. As well, like I said, this theme most of all loads fast, which is very important if you want to have a successful website. So yeah, if you are considering to choose a theme, if you are planning to start a new project, I highly recommend you to check out Astra theme. All right, I have another theme which is quite popular as well. It's called OceanWP theme. It's quite similar to Astra theme, but at the same time it's different. And then if you are, like I said, if you are planning to start a new project, or you are already working on a project and you might be looking for a theme, I would recommend you to check out those two themes, Astra theme and OceanWP theme, because they are fast loading, they are very customizable, and those themes, they have both free versions available. Of course, they have premium version available, but with free versions, you will be able to customize them a lot, and you will be able to create your own unique looking website pretty much easily. All right, let's move on. All right, and here I have some other theme options where you could get themes. I usually get my themes. I'm talking about premium themes from Themeforest.net. And like I said, you're going to find the link in description. And from Themeforest.net, you can find really great premium themes at low cost. And the same rules apply. You know, if you're going to find a good theme, you must check how often it's being updated. When was the last update? You should check reviews as well, and then and so on. So I highly recommend you to check out themeforest.net if you are looking for some premium options. As well, here you will find a lot of plugin options. So if you might need any type of plugin, you're gonna find a lot of different plugins available in this themeforest.net. The second place where I like to get my themes is Colorlib. It's a quite good place as well. The main difference between Themeforest and Colorlib is that here you're gonna find some free themes, and if you're on a tight budget, you can definitely check Colorlib. There are really a lot of great themes available that are free, and you don't really need to pay anything. So you're gonna save quite a lot of money. And as well, they have some premium themes. And I highly recommend you to check those two websites because most of the time this is where I get my themes. I really like those two options. All right, let's move on. All right, so let's talk about customizing your WordPress theme. I understand that this customizing thing might look quite obvious, and when I was preparing this presentation, it seemed quite obvious to me as well. But for some people, it might be a little bit confusing. When we are talking about customization part, we are not just talking about the customization of a theme. When you go to appearance section in a WordPress dashboard and you select customize. No, we're gonna talk a little bit more about other things as well. So the three main things when customizing your theme are like customizing via the customizer, which you can access in WordPress dashboard by going to appearance section and selecting customize. This one is quite obvious, I believe. And the next one is you can customize your theme using page builders. So basically not a theme, but your website itself. By using page builders, you can create a really great looking website and without needing to have any coding skills. And the last option is editing code. This one is to be honest, is a little bit complicated. And if you are a beginner, I wouldn't recommend you to use this last option, but later on, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. All right, let's move on. So using customizer is pretty much straightforward. Like I said, you can access it through WordPress dashboard by going to appearance section and selecting customize. You probably already know that. It's simple and easy, and it's straightforward. Different themes have different options. So for example, if you would have Astra theme compared to OceanWP, you would have different customization options. And if you would use, let's say, a free theme that has a premium version, most likely you're gonna have less customization options with a free theme compared to a premium version of the same theme. And usually developers who create themes, in a lot of cases, I have noticed that in customization settings, they don't add such things like ability to customize footer. If you want to customize footer to create a good looking footer, you need to get a premium version. So that's quite annoying. But yeah, if you found the theme that you like the most, maybe it could be a good idea to invest money and get a premium version of this theme. But usually I don't do that. In most cases, when I'm starting a new project, when I feel that I'm ready to invest some money in that project, I usually buy a premium theme from Themeforest.net or any other place, because premium themes, they have way more customization options. And let's say you could have 2 websites or 3 websites running on the same theme, but at the end of the day, they could look completely different. So yeah. And yeah, in most cases, for regular users, customization section is going to be more than enough. And a lot of cases, you will not be using all those adjustments, all those settings, and it should be enough. But yeah, if you are looking for something more, you might be interested in page builders or editing the code of your theme itself. But yeah, like I said, if you would have 2 or 3 websites running on the same theme, by using customization settings, you would be able to create a completely different looking websites. All right, let's move on. Using page builders. All right, so using page builders is actually really good when you are creating your pages. For example, when you are creating your home page, about page, contact us page, or any other page, and you want to achieve nice results. Instead of customizing pages using WordPress text editor, you could use page builder. And like I said, with page builder, you don't need to know how to code. It's very easy to use. Most of the time, it's drag and drop principle. You don't really need to know much. It's very simple. It's just page builder. And you can use pre-built modules. So there are some pre-built modules that will help to create your page even faster, and the whole process is going to be way smoother. When you have some type of foundation, it's gonna be way easier to create a nice looking page than starting from the scratch. And yeah, of course, it's real-time front-end editing. So what you are doing, what you are editing right now, you can see it straight away. You don't need to update or anything like that. You're just using drag and drop principles, and by doing this, you can build a really nice looking page. There are plenty of page builders available, and then in the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit more about those page builders. But as you can see on the right side, we have some of the most popular page builders. So that's Elementor, Beaver Builder, and Divi. Divi actually is a theme with its own builder. This theme is also quite popular. I didn't include this theme in the list because I decided to include it as a page builder. So like I said, if you are planning to start working on a new project, or you are looking for ways how to improve the looks of your website, you could check out these page builders. I have included links in the description as well. All right, let's move on. All right, editing code. So editing code might be a little bit complicated task for beginners, because you will need some coding skills, CSS, PHP, and so on. And this method is not beginner friendly. And if you are planning to edit functions PHP file, basically, if you are planning to edit the theme itself, you're gonna need to create a child theme. And for some people, this process of creating a child theme might seem a little bit complicated. I remember at first when I started building my websites, I couldn't figure out what is a child theme, and it took me a while until I figured this out. But basically, the child theme. No, actually, I shouldn't talk about child theme right now because I have another slide related to child themes. All right, so editing code, you're gonna need some coding skills, and in most cases, to be honest, you don't really need to do any editing with code, because you can achieve great results with the customization options of the theme, and you can really achieve great results with page builders, and basically you don't really need to edit code. And then a lot of cases, you could mess something up, and to avoid this from happening, I wouldn't recommend you to start editing the code of your theme. All right, let's move on. Child theme. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go back to this thing, child theme thing, and basically child theme is add-on for your existing theme. So when you go to your themes, so all right, let's say once you create a child theme, and as well, I have included a link in the description how to create a child theme. If you ever decide to do some editing with the code of your theme, you must use child theme. So I have included a link in the description as well to teach you that will help you to create a child theme. So like I said, a child theme is, for example, I'm going to give you an example. Once you go to your appearance section, and when you go to themes, and you have like the whole list of themes available, and let's say you have one active theme, which is main theme, and on the side you would have a child theme. Basically, child theme is not any different theme. It's like add-on to your main theme. And when you are doing changes to your code, you're gonna do changes through your child theme. And by doing those changes, you will not affect the code of your the main theme. And later on, once you, let's say, update your theme, your main theme, the whole changes gonna stay. Otherwise, if you would do some changes to your main theme instead of doing changes to your child theme, after updating your theme, your all changes would disappear. So that's really important to have a child theme if you are planning to do any adjustments, any editing to your code. And yeah, like I said, you must have a child theme if you are planning to do any editing with functions PHP file. Basically here, basically this file is responsible for adding various functions to your theme, to your website. And yeah, this topic is a little bit more complicated, and I wouldn't say that it's for beginners. And like I said, it allows to make mistakes. When you are editing your child theme, you can make some mistakes, you wouldn't have any issues. But if you would start editing like your main theme, and let's say if you would do some changes in your functions PHP file and you would mess up, you would add a bad code or whatever, you probably won't be able to access your WordPress website at all. So this is very important. If you will ever decide to edit your code, you must create a child theme. And how to create a child theme you can learn by checking description down below. You will find the tutorial. All right, let's move on. All right, custom CSS. This one, I wouldn't say it's for beginners, but actually it is. If you are a little bit more techie guy or a person, and let's say you want to do some changes to layout, or let's say fonts, colors, and then everything that is related to basically appearance of your website, to appearance of various elements of your theme, you can do this with a custom CSS. Usually you can do this by going to customization settings of your theme. Like I said, when you go to appearance section and you select customization options, even though you might have a different theme, or it doesn't really matter, because most of the themes, they have such section that is called custom CSS. And right here you can add, basically you can add code for various adjustments. But you need to learn some basic coding skills. All right. As well, I believe I have included link related to CSS in the description. Yeah, there should be a tutorial as well. So once you finish watching this webinar, don't forget to check description, because I have included all valuable links in the description. So yeah, let's move on. Plugins for customizing your website. All right, so we a little bit talked about page builders. So basically plugins that are for customizing your website are page builders. Sometimes you might use contact forms. I understand that contact forms might not be completely related to customization part, but let's say if you are creating a contact us page, you most likely gonna need to use contact forms. Later on, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about contact forms. I'm gonna give you some good examples, good plugins that I like to use myself. And as well, you can use widgets to do some customization to your website. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about widgets a little bit later. All right, let's move on. So page builders. So I already talked about page builders just a little bit, but the page builders basically are for creating pages. Using page builders, you can create a really awesome looking pages. If you have not tried using page builders, I highly recommend you to try them out. You could start with Elementor. Elementor is the most popular page builder, and using this page builder, you can create a really awesome looking pages. Instead of creating pages with a WordPress text editor, I would recommend you to try using Elementor. As well, another good page builder is Beaver Builder. I have used it a couple of times, but to be honest, I like Elementor more. And as you can see right here, we have Div Builder, WP Bakery, and Visual Composer. So basically, it's up to you which page builder you would like to use, but I highly recommend you to use Elementor. All right, so let's move on to the next slide. Contact forms. So contact forms are great for creating contact forms. I know it sounds ridiculous, but contact forms are great for creating contact forms. For example, when you are creating a contact us page, and let's say this page is where your visitor can leave you a message. So in this case, you would have to use a contact form. You would build a simple looking form where you would include your visitor's email address, a field for email address, name, and the message itself. And by using this contact form, by accessing this page, let's say you built a page, contact page using Elementor Page Builder. You added some nice looking graphics, you added some text, and then in the separate section you added a contact form. And by using those two things, like contact forms plugin and Elementor, you can build a really great looking contact page, or you can even use contact forms for building email lists. So basically, those contact form plugins are quite versatile. You can use them not just for building contact forms, but you can use them as well for building your email list. So for example, if you have a WordPress blog, or you have a business website where you publish a blog from time to time, and maybe it would be a good idea to include at the end of that post, or in between that post. I usually like to include at the end of that post a simple form where my users, where my visitors can subscribe to my email list, and all they have to do is just enter their email address and their name. And if they like the content, they usually subscribe to that list. And for that, I usually use Ninja Forms. And other good plugin is WPForms, WordPress forms. But I usually like to use Ninja Forms more than WPForms, because Ninja Forms, they offer more free stuff compared to WP Forms. But to be honest, they are both good plugins. So if you will ever need to create a form, or you will ever need to create anything related to contact form, I highly recommend you to check out those two plugins. Again, I included links in the description. All right, let's move on. Widgets. I don't know if you have heard about widgets. Probably you have. If you have experience with WordPress, you should know something about widgets. So basically, widgets are small blocks of content that you can use in various places of your website. For example, it could be sidebar, footer, or any other place. It depends on the theme, because let's say you could have two different themes, and those two themes would have different spots for your widgets. To add widgets to your website, you can basically do not just add, but to check available places for widgets. You can find this section of widgets in appearance section once you select widgets, and on the right side you should see available spots for adding widgets, and a little bit on the left side you should see available widgets. Don't worry about that. I'm just explaining, but I'm gonna show you the real example. And what else I got here? Yeah, and basically you can use those widgets to add small pieces of content to various places without needing to code. So I believe that's great. So you can have various widgets, like the most popular blog posts. You could have text widgets, social media icons widget, and other similar widgets. All right, let's move on. So like I said, you can find and access widgets in appearance section, and once you go to widgets, and as you can see right here, I have a theme that is called Arrive Free. It's actually quite a good theme if you are planning to build an e-commerce website. I used it for building one dropshipping store. It's a free theme, so if you're interested, you can check that out. All right, so as you can see right here on the right side, we have two columns where you can see it starts with blog sidebar, and we have basically various spots for adding widgets. And on the left side, we have available widgets. So as you can see, those all widgets basically came with my theme. And if you will ever need some type of other widget, let's say if you're gonna need some more fancy social media icons widget, you can go to plugin section, and by using search, you most likely gonna find social media icons widget. Once you install a plugin, this widget will be displayed in this available widget section, and by dragging certain elements, certain widget to the right side of the certain spot, you can add this widget. So for example, you could add a widget to blog sidebar, you could add a widget to a footer, and here in this next slide you will see how it looks. All right, so as you can see, Here we have this website, basically that was used to build with a theme called Rye-Free. And as you saw in the previous slide, we had widgets and we had a sidebar for widgets. And that sidebar had some widgets added. So as you can see right here, the sidebar that is here, we have About Us, basically text widget, we have social media, icons widget, and we have recent posts widget, categories widgets, and basically there are plenty of various widgets available. All right, here's the next example. Here we have other section available for widgets, which is footer. So as you can see here, basically footer, this footer is created using only widgets. And we have four sections of widgets. So this is the first section, the second one, third one, and the last one. And basically, depending on what type of theme you are using, you might have different layout, you might have different spots for displaying your widgets. But yeah, I usually like to use widgets to display various information. It makes look your website a little bit more appealing, I would say. All right, let's move on. All right, so let's talk about the best practices for customizing your website. So the first thing is you should choose the right colors. I know that this might sound might not too important, but trust me, it's very important, because there's a huge percentage of people, when they have a bad first impression, they most likely not gonna visit your website ever again. So yeah, choosing the right colors is very important. And the next tip would be, if possible, customize without editing code, because you don't want to mess anything up. And it's better not to edit code if you are a beginner. But if you have enough knowledge, if you have enough skills, and you are confident in yourself, you can absolutely, you can edit code. But before you doing this, don't forget to create a child theme. All right. The next tip is you could use a local development site to make changes. So you could host your website locally. So let's say you could instead of having a live version of your website, you could download your website and host it locally on your computer using just somehow forgot the name of the tools, but actually I have included a tutorial and description as well. And if you would do changes locally to your website, basically you would be able to see how those changes are taking effect, and then you wouldn't mess up your live version of your website. But I usually don't do that myself. But for ones who are more interested in the coding side of your WordPress website, you could do this. You could host your website locally and then start doing changes. Once you see that website functions just fine, you can go live with that version of your website. And the last tip would be, if possible, don't use multiple page builders. I know that it's sometimes it's quite difficult, that not every page builder has all the functions, all the elements that you need. And sometimes people, they use multiple page builders. It's doable, but I wouldn't recommend you to do that, because there might be a conflict in between those plugins, and you might have some issues with load speed and so on. So instead of using multiple page builders, I highly recommend you just use one. And by using one page builder, you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. So yeah, that's the thing. And if you are planning to start using a page builder, I would highly recommend you to start with Elementor. It's a really great choice. All right, let's move on. Choosing colors. All right, so I thought this one is quite important to talk about, because I have seen a lot of websites that could do some small improvements and they would look much better. So don't use too many colors. Most of the time, less is better. I usually like use up to 3 colors with my websites, because otherwise, if you would start using too many colors, your website most likely gonna look too messy. You should have a couple of main colors and accent color in the best case scenario. But yeah, don't use too many colors. You don't want to make your website look too flashy, and then if you're gonna start using too many colors, the first impression ain't gonna be good, and most likely you're gonna lose your potential visitors. All right. The second thing I would say, you should understand color psychology just a little bit. You should understand what's the difference between the various colors. Let's say what emotions the red color gives you, what emotions blue color gives you, and so on. And the last tip that is related to colors is it would be use color schemes, or in other words, palettes. So like I said, if you are planning to use free colors, you should use matching colors. And for finding the matching colors, there are various generators available to generate those palettes, those schemes. And also I have included those all things in the description. You're gonna find all the links in the description. All right, let's move on. So like I said, you should understand the color psychology just a little bit, so you wouldn't have your website, let's say, that wouldn't make sense. You have completely black website, and you are like selling kid toys. You should understand color psychology just a little bit. As you can see, there's a huge difference between red and, let's say, blue color. As you can see, probably that's why in the United States of America there's like Democrats and Republicans. So there's some type of meaning behind those colors. So the same applies to websites as well. You should know a little bit about psychology of colors if you want to have a professional looking website. And it's quite interesting to know such things, that let's say yellow color symbolizes optimism, happiness, creativity, friendliness, and so on. All right, let's move on. Color schemes, palettes, and generators. All right, so those are 3 of them. I actually like to use Peloton.com the most, because as you can see, let's say you can select that you want to use free colors, and instantly you get like free matching colors, and it's quite convenient, I would say. All right, what else? And that's it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this information was useful, and if it was, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed yet. All right, so thank you for watching. Now we're gonna move on to the Q&A session. Let's see if we have any questions. Please, just a second. Sorry about that. There's quite a lot of comments. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. I'm very happy that you showed up to watch this webinar. All right. So here we have a question. What are the top 5 plugins? Tell me this. What are the top 5 plugins? I believe, first of all, the most important plugin would be a cache plugin. The second plugin, which is also important, is some type of SEO plugin. It could be Yoast SEO or any other similar plugin. So, and the third plugin, which would be important, maybe a page builder. If you are planning to build a nice looking website. And plugin number 4, let me think. And depending on what type of website you are building, if you are building an e-commerce store, I would say WooCommerce plugin is very important, because most of my projects are e-commerce stores. So I would say WooCommerce plugin is very important. And the next plugin would be Contact Forms plugin. So you could use Ninja Forms. And what else? Let me think. And I believe the last plugin that is also very important would be Image Optimizer, because you want to have a fast loading website, and optimizing images is very important. And if you want to learn a little bit more about making your website load fast as lightning, you can check our previous webinar. All right, so let's move on to the next question. Okay, this is plugin or themes. It depends. Actually, it doesn't depend too much, but if you are looking for the design part of your website, you should focus on themes. And basically, plugins are for adding various functionalities to your website. So, for example, for adding contact forms, for adding e-commerce functionality, for adding various other functionalities. There are plenty of different plugins available. So, all right, let's move on. Hopefully that was a good answer. All right, what else? Just a second. Please tell us more about child themes. What more you would like to hear? I have included a tutorial in description, and then it's quite in-depth tutorial. It's by Hostinger, so I highly recommend you to check that tutorial. But basically, if you are planning to do any changes to the code of your WordPress website, to the code of your theme, you absolutely should use, not should, you must use a child theme. Otherwise, you might mess up your website. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right. All right, so how should I customize my website and not mess anything? I would say you should evaluate your skills. You know, if you are a beginner, you shouldn't focus too much on editing code. All right, but if you are looking for a challenge, you could do that. You could, but first of all, you should create a child theme. But again, if you want to learn more how to edit code and work on the code, maybe the good idea would be to have hosted your website locally, and this way you wouldn't mess anything up. You wouldn't mess up your live version, and this way you shouldn't have any issues. But yeah, if you are just focusing on customizing the theme, working with, let's say, page builders, you shouldn't mess anything up. You shouldn't have any issues. All right. So what's the next question? Oh, sorry. Any payment gateway plugins? Yeah, absolutely. If you are planning to build an e-commerce website, let's say, most likely if you're planning to use WooCommerce, but it doesn't really matter. You can build an e-commerce website without using WooCommerce. So payment gateway, I would say Stripe payment gateway. I usually like to use Stripe payment gateway because it's quite widely available, and the fees, the transaction fees are quite good. And the second best option would be to checkout. It's quite good as well, but yeah, I usually like to use Stripe. What should I, just a second, the next question, what should I do to secure my website fully? First of all, I would recommend you to have a SSL certificate, and it's quite important. It's going to help you for SEO, and your website going to look way more trustworthy and way more professional. Especially if you have an e-commerce website, you must have SSL certificate. Otherwise, you might not rank in Google search results at all. That would be the first step. The second step, I would say, you could hide your login URL. You know, when you type your domain /wp-admin, you can hide this login URL by using a plugin. I believe it's called hide my login details or something like that. And if you want to go an extra level of security, you could use a plugin for security. I have heard like WordFence is a good plugin, but it makes your website load slowly. I have heard like I believe it's called not Rocket, how it's called. God damn it, forgot. Yeah, WordFence is a good plugin for security, but I heard it makes your website load slowly, and I would recommend you to look for close alternatives. There are a lot of websites there are a lot of plugins that offer this security feature, and also what else you could do. Also, I would recommend you to blacklist IP addresses that are leaving spammy comments. because it's not much for security, but by doing this you will avoid of those spammy comments, and then by doing this your website will look way more professional. So those are the things I would recommend you to do. All right, what else? How to add code to my theme in WordPress that will not cause harm to my site. First of all, you should use child theme. Because if you're gonna do some changes to your main theme, you might mess something up, and you might have some issues. But if you're gonna do changes through your child theme, it's a little bit more forgiving. You will not mess anything up, and if something doesn't work properly, you can basically switch back to your main theme, and you can, without any issues, basically remove the child theme and recreate another one. So yeah, if you are planning to do any changes related to code, you should have a child theme. So yeah, that would be the thing. All right. Okay, so many questions. Please explain how to add links to content such as publications. Publications? What do you mean by, you mean interlinking your blog posts, or what? It's quite simple. You just have to, if that's the case, it's quite simple. You just have to basically add links, and that's it. If you are using SEO plugins, you can also, if you're adding links from other websites, you can also select if you want to make those links do follow or non-follow links. So yeah, it's possible. Just a second. I hopefully answered the question, because sorry, I didn't understand it very well. All right, the next one. If I want to change from one theme to another, does all the data I have uploaded get automatically transferred to the new theme, or does everything get mixed up, and do I have to make adjustments? Yes, you're gonna need to make adjustments. Some of the settings might be available, but it shouldn't be like that. And basically, once you switch from one theme to another, you will need to do customization adjustments over again, unless you are using page builder to build a certain page. So let's say if you are switching from one theme to another and you have like majority of your pages built using page builder, you won't need to do a lot of adjustments. Of course, if that new theme is totally compatible with page builder, that means you will not need to do a lot of changes to your pages. But once you switch to a new theme, of course, you're gonna need to do customization adjustments, because it's completely different theme, and then those settings are basically only saved for your old theme. So let's say once you switch back to your previous theme, you're gonna have your old settings saved, and basically you're gonna switch back to the previous version of your website. All right. Next question. Do you have a recommendation for plugging in to sort media into folders rather than using the basic functions that come with WordPress? To sort media into folders. Not really. I don't have a recommendation for this one. Probably I've never had this issue arise. So yeah. But nowadays, I would say WordPress text editor is quite convenient. There are a lot of various blocks, elements available, and it's turning into page builder itself. So yeah, if you're not able to create or achieve certain results with WordPress text editor, you could use a page builder and do a similar thing. but on another level. All right. So the next question: how do you choose the right theme? What's your favorite theme? All right. How do you choose the right theme? Like I said, you should check. You should check how. You should check how that theme looks. The reason why I like, let's say, Themeforest.net is because you can check a live version of that theme, and you can check using different pre-installed templates because. Because a lot of premium themes, they come with multiple different let's say starter templates, and you can check the live versions of those templates without having to install or purchase this theme yourself, so you could have a better understanding how this theme is going to look. So yeah, by checking how it looks, if you feel like you like that theme, the next step would be you should check when was the last time this theme was updated. If it hasn't been updated for a while, I wouldn't use that theme. Like I said, in the future you might have some issues, and you should check reviews, how popular it is, and if you like it, just use it. And my most favorite theme is Flatsum. It's e-commerce theme, and it's like premium theme. I use it for my e-commerce store. Actually, I use it for 2 of my websites. But the second favorite theme would be Astra, because it's a great theme if you are building a business website or even a blog, or let's say if you decide to build some type of like teaching platform, learning platform where you like selling courses, you can use Astra as well. With a paid version, you will be able to create a really great looking website. Even with the free version, you will be able to create a really great website, and it's going to be fast loading. So yeah, I would recommend you to check out Astra theme if you are planning to build a business website, a blog, let's say, and if you are looking for something more customizable for e-commerce store, you could check Flatsum. It's quite a good theme. What theme would you suggest for a startup website? I guess I would suggest Astra or OceanWP, because let's say with Astra, you will be able to create a really, really good looking website, since the main focus of Astra is page builders, let's say Elementor, and with Elementor, your possibilities are almost endless, limitless. So yeah, even though you could have like 10 websites using the same Astra theme, you wouldn't understand that those websites are using the same theme, because that's how much it's customizable. So yeah, I would recommend you to check out Astra theme for a startup. All right, just lost the questions. All right, the next question: how do I link my button to the page I want to take you to? You just add basically, I don't know, I'm not sure what are you using to build a page, let's say, and let's say you add a button. For example, you could use Elementor. Once you add a button, you will have option to add a link, and actually it doesn't matter if you use Elementor, Beaver Builder, or even the WordPress text editor itself. You basically are able to add links to that button in the adjustments tab in the settings section. You just have to paste the URL of your page. Let's say you open up a certain page of your website in a new tab. You just copy that URL and you just paste it to that button. Simple as that. You can do this this way. All right. So the next one: how to create an e-commerce store with Hostinger, and which plan is good for e-commerce dropshipping business? How to create? Actually, you can check our video where I teach how to create a dropshipping store using a Rai free theme and using Shopmaster tool for dropshipping solutions. This tutorial was focused on creating a dropshipping store for people that are on a tight budget. So basically, in this tutorial, you only need to pay for web hosting. And choosing the right web hosting, I would recommend you to start with business web hosting, with shared business hosting, because it doesn't, let's be honest, it doesn't cost much, but don't make mistake and don't choose the cheapest plan, because otherwise in the future you might regret it. This happened to me in the past when I started my dropshipping website. I remember I was using, I believe I was using HostGator, and I was using Baby Plan. And some of my products went viral. I started getting more and more traffic, and suddenly my website started to break because I was getting too much traffic. My hosting couldn't handle that much traffic, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I was just losing customers. So if you are planning to start dropshipping store and you are very serious about that, I highly recommend you to start with business shared web hosting, or at least premium shared web hosting. In the beginning, you shouldn't have any issues with the premium shared web hosting, but later on, you might feel a need to upgrade to a better plan. And later on, once you have a well-established dropshipping store, I would recommend you to choose a cloud hosting just later on. And what else? Which plan? How to create? Oh, I believe I just answered this question. All right. Okay, just a second. Oh, this is the update. A publication on another site. Oh, you mean it's like a backlink exchange when you like contact a certain blog where you ask for guest post. So you should contact the other owner of let's say a certain website, and this way you can get a backlink. I'm not sure if that's the thing you asked. Sorry about that, but okay, let's move on. All right, what is the best way to back up my WordPress site? There are some plugins available for that, and you could use them, but I usually like to use the tools that already come with web hosting. And at Hostinger, with certain plans, you're gonna have weekly backups. With other plans, you're gonna have daily backups. So basically, you can go to your H panel, and then you can access backups section. And from here, you will be able to download the backup of your files and to download the backup of your database. So yeah, usually I believe usually most of the web hosting providers, they offer such service. So I believe the best way to do a backup of your website is to do on a web hosting level without using plugins. Or you can do this manually. You could export files using FTP, or using file manager. You could download all the files, and later on you would have to download the database of your website. So yeah, just a second. All right, this is the next question. I'm interested in how to create menu and then a sub menu. To create a menu, you can do this by going to appearance section of your. Once you are in your WordPress dashboard, you should just go to appearance section, and here you will find such section as menus. And right here, you will be able to select if you want to do changes to your primary menu, or you want to create a new menu. And just basically, you just add pages, categories, or whatever, or custom links to the list of all menu items. And if you want to have a sub menu for, let's say you have a main category products like toys, let's say, and you want to have like cat toys, dog toys, or whatever, and you just have to add those menu items to the same list, and just drag that those sub items under that your main, let's say, parent category, just a little bit to the right side, and drop it. This way, this menu element will be added to as a child menu element to main parent menu element. I don't know if you understood that, but yeah, that's basically how you do it. All right, the next question. Just a second. All right, the last question. Which is the best theme for blogging? It depends, depends what you like the most. But if you are planning to start blogging, I would recommend you to check out themes on themeforest.net. Depending on your personal needs, just find the theme that you like the most. Most of those themes are very customizable, and you will be able to create your own unique website. And yeah, there are quite a lot of themes that are dedicated for blogging, and I believe you will be able to find your own theme that you like the most. I don't really know what is the best one. The best one, I would say, that loads fast and looks good. It's easy for visitors to read. Where like the layout is quite nice looking, and so on. So it's completely up to you, but I highly recommend you to check out themeforest.net and the other site that are recommended for themes. All links are in the description, just like I mentioned you before. All right, so this is it. That was the last question. I wasn't expecting that it's gonna take so long, but thank you for watching. Hopefully the information was useful, and I really appreciate that you spend time with me. I hope it wasn't too boring. And yeah, this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day, and like I like to say, good luck on your online journey. All right, so I'm going out. See you next time. All right, see you. Bye.